It may have worked. Did it work?
Did it work? Are we live?
Are we live?
Are we
Because
live?
the trick is we have to go live before he clicks end, or it doesn't automatically redirect. So that's why I kept saying, you got to go live, my friend. You got to go live.
Yeah.
So Jan is from TeslaFix. Brian is from Futuraza.
Exactly.
That is me. And we're here doing a Q and or A, and the Qs are right here.
Yes.
We do have an answer already saying it worked. If you double click on that, it'll pop up on the screen. Oops.
Perfect.
There we go. The Tunnies. Hey, Paul, how are you, my friend? Paul took me out. I said, I have already had barbecue in Texas. It is so wonderful, but I could always go for some more. And he said, I know a place that is a third of the price of what you paid last night and just as good. And he was correct.
Awesome.
Jessica Kirsch is in here. Hello, Jessica. Haven't chatted with you in maybe 6 months or a year. Good to see you. And let's see, DRK is, of course, here. DRK.
Yeah, DRK is always here. Thank you very much. Thank you for your service. I mean, what can you say? It's almost like he's a veteran in this space.
Right. He is on so many channels as a moderator. I saw him on so many channels as a moderator that one time he showed up in the comments and I was just like, oh, I'm just going to click add as a moderator. It's like, whoa.
Whoa. Yeah, you have to be a moderator on my channel soon. But I'm not as frequently doing live streams. Sadly.
That's true. That's true. It's a lot of fun. So guys, we are going to be at the X Takeover in Austria in a matter of days. That's going to be on, I guess, Friday night technically, and Saturday and Sunday.
Yep.
And we're going to see so many cool folks there. K10's going to be there. Alexandra Mertz, lots of
Finally
people.
meeting her in person,
Oh, yeah,
and K10 also.
Yeah. I've only met Alexandra a few times. K10 is in the Northwest group, so I've met her a few times more. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I actually got to meet Jessica Kirsch at let's see, that was the first time was at Fully Charged in San Diego, and then at one or two of the Texas events. Yeah, a lot of fun.
So I'm going to put up another question.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
Not a question, but thanks for doing this, guys. My first time here. I've seen Brian a lot on Herbert's channel.
Welcome. That's very cool, Scott. It's funny. When I go out to events, I am as often recognized from other people's channels as I am from my own. So it's a lot of, it's part of the reason I do it. It's the reason I go out to all these things and do it. And also I love hanging out with Herbert and all that. He's a sharp guy.
He is. Yeah.
Now who's this fat guy you got here?
Oh no, I think that's just a spot on the lens. Wait a second.
Ah, I see. Roger's in here. Roger is a very frequent commenter. Thank you so much. So guys, let's get some. Oh, what a cool avatar you've got, Jessica. I guess I hadn't seen that.
Pretty nice.
Let's see.
Maybe you want to direct the questions.
Oh yeah, why don't we do that, and then you can direct the camera. I don't know. So let's see what we've got here. Okay, that's enough sucking up. Yep, fair. So let's get into some actual questions. Just left the Brighter with Herbert live stream with you guys. Awesome.
Thank you very much.
That's cool.
Much appreciated.
And I'll just sit right here. Oh,
come on, get out of the
sorry.
Okay. Enough multicam.
The Highlander just dropped in. The Highlander is going to be at the event in Michigan. We've got a big event coming up. The Michigan Owners Club is putting on a big event. We've got Sandy Monroe coming. We've got Dr. Scott Walter, Dr. Know-It-All. We've got 4 people with doctorate degrees coming is what I'm saying. And anybody else will be there that you can think of, Jan?
I'll be there if I'm real.
Can you believe it?
If I'm not AI.
If he's not. Now, there could be, if he is AI, I hope there's a video proving that he's, just computer generated.
I might become self-conscious.
Oh, I assume you mean, let's see, somebody had asked, I think, boy, these are moving quick. They said TeslaFlex, but I that's a different person. This is TeslaFix. So have you seen the Cybertruck yet?
So tying into that, I mean, TeslaFlex, I would rename myself if I would have a Cybertruck, actually. No, I haven't seen one in real life because I am located in Germany. So this means I just get the breadcrumbs, and also with FSD, oh, it's horrible. I cannot experience it, but that's why I'm looking forward so much to go to the US finally and test everything out there. So I'm very happy to be in Muskegon as well to test everything. So Brian will pick me up at the airport. I'm going to test FSD and also finally sit in the Cybertruck. But yeah, I might see that here as well because the Cybertruck is touring. It's in Zurich at the end of the month. I will go there and check it out, of course. And maybe it's rumored that it might be at a certain event as well. That's pretty near, but who knows? Who knows? Yeah, the Cybertruck might be in Austria as well.
That's cool. I did want to say, Larry's, hey guys, good to see you. Haven't chatted with you in a while. I should say hello. Give you a call sometime. Yeah, I'd say give me a call, but my calls aren't coming through because I'm in Germany right now. But yeah, good people gonna be there. Yep. And as this is just correct. Brian's hair is perfect as it is. Hey, a lot of people complain about it. If I stop doing the silly hair, then what would they have to discuss? I'm engagement farming. This is a farm.
Yeah, and then the last thing would be his personality, and we know that that's the last thing. That's pretty, that's really working. Kind of.
So let's get into a real question. Gary Black is certain the comp plan will be approved because funds rarely, if ever, vote against the board. Thoughts? My thought would be if it was that much of a slam dunk, we wouldn't be seeing commercials advertising on behalf of voting for the plan. What do you think?
I also think that institutional shareholders, they have a huge incentive of not making chaos or stirring up chaos in the market, or if they have a plan to rack up some shares maybe, but that would be the only case. But let me tell you, if Elon Musk isn't involved in Tesla anymore, even if that's a threat or a possibility, they would do anything they could to actually go into that. So I would say it will be voted for the comp plan because the risk is way too high to lose Elon Musk on this. If he would go, I would say that he would stay and even go on and on. It's his baby, Tesla, as well. So why should he go?
I'm going to disagree with the stock price thing. There was a great question here. Would you personally sell if the share vote is a no? So there's two votes. There's the Texas part and the comp plan. I assume you mean the comp plan, but I'll answer for both. If both of them come back no, I'm not selling because I still believe in the company, because I still believe in the vision, and I still believe that what it is a flywheel that's been getting up to speed. And if you stop putting more energy into it, it will continue spinning. Would you sell? If you asked me, will you sell if Steve Jobs passes away? I would have said yes, and I would have sold, and that would have been a mistake. So I think I don't think he's going to leave. I don't think it's a bad thing. And if the shareholders vote against it, I don't think the stock will crater because most of the shareholders want it that way. And if most of the shareholders vote to give him his comp, then I think it's good too. Either way, the shareholders get what they want.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting angles here to look at this. But yeah, I mean, for me, when the stock price would go down because of any chaos with the comp plan, no financial advice, I would use both hands and try to rack up as many shares as I could, because you can really tell that with FSD 12 now, what's happening there, the dam is about to break, I would say. Let's just put it this way. Mm-hmm. That's my opinion on this.
So what do you think of Warren selling all his shares? He didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't. He sold 20%. And I don't have an opinion on that. I think he was raked across the coals unfairly. I don't know. I don't know what his motivation was. I know K10 had suggested it may have been for tax reasons, and he assured everyone that was not the reason. It was just general economic uncertainty. I can't speak for him, but I will say that as soon as he did, the stock price went up, so we thank him for his sacrifice.
Yeah, I would say that also I had Ross Gerber, for example, on my channel as well, and really asked him about where he came from, what was his decision to kind of it was way before the compensation plan issue arose. But I think it's important to really also, if you have uncertainty, sometimes you have to react. And I would say that Warren is in his right to sell 20% of his shares. He didn't sell more because he couldn't do it. So that's what he had an exchange with Alexander Mertz on this. So I think,
Yeah, I don't know.
just safety, or some people want to dilute a little bit. It's normal.
So Jason wants to know, what could be a plan B for Elon's pay package should it get voted down in June? I'd say it's appeal. File an appeal on the original verdict. They're still trying to negotiate a settlement on that. And the problem was the lawyers, when they got their victory, I assume came back and said, oh, well, we want $11 cajillion, which, by the way, is not a real amount of money. That's not a number. But if they're saying, well, a normal award is a third, right, you want a third of 55. It was never 55 billion. It was about 2 billion. And even if you want a third of that, I think maybe you deserve one of those Disney-style GFYs. I'm just thinking out loud. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I don't think it will get voted down. And if it does, I think Elon will be still influential in Tesla because it's one of his babies. And if he wouldn't, he could focus just on AI because technically also the FSD is a big AI project, of course, but I don't see it. I think he would keep on going, maybe focus on different things a little bit, but I don't think that Tesla will stumble as much. Yeah.
So here's a much more difficult one. I'll let you go first, but I'll read it. How long do you think it takes for people to believe that their Tesla is sentient, self-aware, if you will, and how long until it actually is self-aware?
I would say that this will take some time. It has to depend on, for example, having a large language model inside that can speak with you and stuff like this. I would say it will take a lot of time until it's sentient because we are, in my opinion, pretty far away from that. But we also see those developments in AI that are so steep that you don't know. That's the thing. But I don't think it's near. So that's my opinion.
I'm going to agree with Paul on this one. Man, you wouldn't want a sentient car. No. And I don't think it will ever be. If there is an amount of compute that could do it, I don't think it fits in a car with today's technology. And I also agree you don't. Faking it is quite good enough, I would say. Do you think the first Robotaxi service will appear in U.S. or China? I mean, there already are Robotaxis in, I think, both. So I am not, I guess a follow-up for me, Martin, would be, how are you defining it in a way that is different from what we see today? Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, I don't see it in Europe, let me tell you that, because of course regulation here. You see, like Brian said, with the Robotaxis in the US, I think that's the way to go. Also, China makes sense because they had recently, Elon visited there. I can see that they will expand their Robotaxi concepts there as well. They wouldn't kind of stir as much the pot right now like Tesla is doing if there wasn't something that was backing that up. And also with China having this hub, this data hub, this free trade data hub that they are building or opening up to send out data from China. So that's what we talked about also in the on Herbert's channel. Those are huge indications actually that, we're gonna see something in the US and China at first, and then in Europe afterwards when regulators start to notice that the world is still spinning and that huge innovations are right ahead of us.
So when you say, are you self-aware, and your car says, I'm sorry, I can't tell you that, be afraid.
That's good.
Here's a question. Maybe you can answer this. Why are European men so soft and feminine?
Are they, though? Maybe they're just speaking a foreign language and you don't realize how masculine their voice is, if you know. Yes.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Am I soft? I'm a European. Please, everybody, could you rate me if I would be soft. Even that I asked that probably makes me pretty soft. So
Well, I would say that European men don't necessarily have the social pressure to be macho, but I'll tell you how macho. I'll tell you how macho he
Southern
is.
Europe, Italians and French, excuse me, Spanish. Hello.
I would say Jan's got a broken hand, and he had a tennis appointment yesterday.
Yeah, I
and,
played tennis
and
with my left hand.
He
And I'm
played.
better.
He still played tennis and with his non-dominant hand, and still played very well. So
I dominated the court anyway.
but I guess, he's married, so I'm sorry, Bigfoot. You may not get to find the answer directly.
Add me on Grindr.
I'll be the closest one. Let's see here. Well, we do have a super chat, we should say. If you can't stop Tesla from selling electric vehicles, big oil, Wall Street will take Tesla. Eliminate the current board, reduce the shareholders, install your own board members, and you have a corporate takeover, PayPal 2.0. I don't have enough experience with corporate takeovers to know if that's even possible. It strikes me as unlikely. I don't really have a thought on that. Do you?
Seeing the history of big oil, what they already did globally, this sounds ridiculous, but I mean, it's not out of their ballpark, I would say, but I don't think that this would come in. No, I don't see it. But it's a good theory or a good way to connect the puzzles, kind of. Yeah.
I would agree with all that. This is one I've seen a number of times. Who pays for the car insurance when your car is a Robotaxi, and for that matter, when your car is just on level 5 and you're not in it?
Liability lays, of course, in my opinion, on Tesla, and there is where Tesla insurance makes sense. Because why would they conceptualize something like this if that wasn't the plan? It's not just about making money with insurances, but I think that's to secure that, because which insurer would be in the right state of mind to insure a car like a Tesla? I mean, they already racked up prices pretty steeply before, and so Tesla stepped in and said, okay, we got a vertical integrate insurance now. So I think that's a part of the system that we're going to see in the future in that sense, because, of course, the great and forward-thinking Mercedes with their drive pilot here in Germany, they, of course, also, when the car is in level 3, it's the liability of Mercedes then when something happens. So we see those kinds of concepts already in fruition, but you know that this thing just writes in so small use cases that it can't crash. If that thing crashes in that state, then it's even more broken than, yeah.
And I would add to that, who is responsible for a crash? The answer is always whoever is driving. Today, on FSD, I am still driving. I'm still the supervisor. Once I am no longer the supervisor, the car is driving, the car needs to insure itself. And for that matter, my car is insured when no one's driving it. So I imagine figuring that out wouldn't be too hard.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like Tesla will have an insurance model that ties into that. That when you give, for example, good case is this hybrid case of I have a Model 3 Highland down below here at the street. I'm chilling out with Brian here, and then I let my car go into the Robotaxi fleet. Is it my insurance that's liable now? No, I wouldn't say so. So I think with a Tesla insurance, I think this is something they could have, this hybrid model or insurance that covers everything. So even if no one's driving.
Well, almost everything. It doesn't.
Yeah, of
it
course.
doesn't cover the Lord Almighty. I don't know if you know that, because if your car is hit by a meteor, that's an act of God.
Or Starlink.
Or Starlink. So I do have to just give some attention. Dr. has been leaving some very valuable comments, getting progressively more and more fun, saying things like Fisker is waiting in the wings for the vote to fail so they can buy Tesla. And I think the good doctor also is of the belief that that Fisker will be buying GM and Ford and Volkswagen as well, because, and I my response to that was not Faraday future, surely. But we have some fun in the comments.
Absolutely.
Yeah. A more serious question. Let's see. I saw one down here. Of all the above, stock dump followed by, if the vote is a no, boardroom coup attempt within 6 months. I don't know. I just don't know enough about how boardrooms work. And I've tried to ask people who are on boards of directors, and I've never really gotten good answers as to what exactly do you do here?
Yeah, just thinking about Machiavellian techniques to kind of get rid of or gain more power. Yeah, we don't know. We have to see, but calculating Elon out of this would be a dumb idea.
Would be crazy.
Yeah, would be really crazy. Yeah.
So I love this question from Paul, and Paul is also a regular. Paul, thank you for the interactions and hanging out with us. How many and how quickly could Tesla deploy a fleet of off-lease vehicles? We were just talking about that in the previous show for those who weren't tuning into one of the 4 channels on which it was played. We know since 2018, Tesla's been selling the Model 3s, and they've been doing it in a way that has them showing the cars go out, they come back on lease. You can't buy them. They just belong to Tesla. They still belong to Tesla. And the idea was that when the lease ends, we start our Robotaxi network. Well, I don't know if you heard, but in 2021, when those leases began to end, there was no Robotaxi network available. But you know what there was? An insatiable demand for cars. So Tesla was selling those at outrageous markups. I would point out real quick as a side note, the reason we saw those sky-high margins, those mid-20% margins, was because they were selling so many used vehicles for new vehicle prices. So how quickly, when let's say Robotaxi's ready November 1st, they would have a month or two's notice to start stockpiling cars. How quickly could they assemble that Robotaxi fleet?
That's the...
Well, I'm asking you.
Oh,
what
God,
you think.
that was a question? Jeez. So, difficult to say, but I think...
It's whatever the rate of vehicles coming back off lease is, minus the ones that for whatever reason can't go into service. But I think we'd have to look at what the leasing rates are, but I think they would be able to get back thousands and thousands, enough to literally roll out a new city every month within their own network if the cars are ready. You think? Am I crazy?
No.
Oh, I mean, no. I am crazy. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, that's true. But your theory isn't as crazy as you are. Yeah.
I appreciate that. I did want to say a thank you to the Highlander, who is always in the comments, always in the chat, and will be in Michigan. If you would like to come find him and say hello, if he leaves in the comments what outfit he will be wearing, because he has told me, I will put that up on the screen as well, as long as you keep it PG.
And my question would be to the Highlander, can you live forever?
Well, so far, undefeated.
That's true.
Highlander is, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, going for the world record for world's longest living person. I don't know how many years he's up to so far, but so far so good,
Yeah.
So that's pretty important. So Slower Cuber did point out that Born to Live Forever. I went too far. There can only be one. So there's only one Highlander. And I think the other one is Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Wait, wasn't that Sean Connery? I thought Sean Connery was the Highlander.
Let's see. I think I clicked on the wrong one. When our German buddy is in Michigan, what does he want to eat for our private barbecue?
Ooh, that's nice. Yeah, I've tested some stuff already from Brian that he brought. I mean, this is not comparable with a real barbecue. Come on. I mean, it was sprayed cheese that tastes like paint thinner. So, yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked. I don't know. Briskets, what do you eat for barbecue? I mean, I'm open for everything except for spicy food because I'm German, and as you know, we German only eat our food bland and without maybe a salt or something.
It
So
was
that could
so
be.
much fun. I went out of my way to buy Takis to bring for Jan, and they didn't get
thank
into
God.
my bag.
Thank
I was like,
God.
oh no. And I messaged home. They're like, yeah, no, they're sitting right here. I was like, oh, they would have hurt so bad. But I just pointed out that in America, in the US, and I mean America because Mexican children do it too, children eat Takis. They're very unpleasant.
Yeah, and what Brian also forgot to bring me is actually the legit list that I sent him because he thought it was a joke. But I wanted to have Lucky Charm cereals and Fruity Pebbles.
So Paul believes around 1,000 cars a day come off lease around the world. Now, I think the network would start in China or the US and probably take some time to radiate out from there. Now, when you are looking at imports on cars, can you move Chinese cars to the US if they're not new cars with a different tax rate? I think the cars would have to be very old to not be hit by the 100% import tariff. But those cars could be sent to, well, I guess they'd have to stay in China. Yeah. And that's the problem is all the European cars coming off lease couldn't be sent to the US because they're still Chinese made for the Model 3s at least.
Mm-hmm.
So because it's country of origin that matters, not most recent country licensed.
Yeah, but from the hardware side itself, since I haven't checked that, but I think that the lights, because they have to be amber, for example, in Europe, so they have different regulations, but those can be adjusted, I think, because they are
You know what
changeable.
they have to be in the US?
Red? No, nothing. Oh, yeah, okay,
just
that's
whatever.
right. That's
Just
right.
flex.
Yeah.
It's dumb. I get it. Red is cooler. It's also a lot more ambiguous if turn signals were always amber, you know.
But I think, I mean, it works. If something blinks, something blinks. For me, I'm a little. A viewer of mine pointed out, for example, because I'm a little bit thinking about why are they pointing that out? But I pointed out that in the Model 3 Highland, actually, the ambient light is dimmed down all the time almost, and that gets on my nerves. Especially, I want to see the interior light up. But Mercedes, for example, has these animations and everything, and somebody said, from my viewers, said, "Oh, but that's a security concern, or you can be blinded by your own lights." I'm like, come on.
Yeah. That's a little crazy. So, guys, we've been going a half hour. We will probably wrap it up in the next 5-10 minutes. Highlander did say that he's German, but that's not what he's going to be wearing. So we'll see if that question came in. And if not, oh, there it is. There's the answer. Anyone who wishes to meet the Highlander will be in the Buchanan kilt. So that is makes easy to spot, and we will be looking forward to you there. And the Michigan event is so cool. We got the whole Heritage Landing Park. It's going to be a whole thing. And let's go down here. I'm not sure what this is in response to, but I know how I feel about it. I'm ambivalent. Yeah, let's see.
Or, as I say, flippity-floppity.
Yeah, this guy. By the way, what a beautiful studio Jan has allowed me use of for this week. It has been. I've gotten so much done here this week. He got it all set up and said, "Here you go." Just basically handed me the keys to the studio, and every channel I've been on has said, "Wow, man, this is a good-looking little box you've trapped yourself in."
At least somebody saw my studio then, because nobody watches my channel. Oh, they do.
Well,
they do.
and the studio, when he originally set it up, the plan was to have guests in studio, and I am the first one.
Yep.
So these,
not really. I had two guests on from Germany, but the first real one, as you know what I mean. Yeah.
Martin wants to know: do you think Tesla will announce a pilot city on 8/8, a city in which they will first launch?
I see that as possible. This could be because it has to be a restricted area at first, so lawmakers don't lose their but also the FSD rollout is already happening, so their robotaxis are kind of already on the road, more or less, depending on the version of FSD 12, of course. I mean, there will be a better version that probably will work.
Yes.
What's your view on that?
I think any city in Nevada would be a good choice. I think Reno would be an easy city because Reno is, I call it sad Vegas. And I was assured that no.
Okay.
Sad Vegas is Las Vegas. This is sadder Vegas.
Okay.
Reno got hit especially hard by the shutdown and lost a lot of their power that way. But all of Nevada is already licensed for level 4 or level 5.
Mm-hmm.
So Nevada is an easy pick. That's why your level 3 Mercedes works in Nevada.
Yeah,
because
makes sense.
Yeah, that was all there. I think that was you guys asked the greatest questions.
Yeah.
You guys leave the best comments. It's awesome. Unfortunately, Matt is not coming to Deutschland.
Schade.
So, yeah. Es ist echt schlimm.
Das ist echt mega schlimm.
Really? Because earlier you told me you were scheißegal.
Yeah.
Lease accounting is 4 to 5% for the Model 3 and Y most quarters, and about 10% for the S and X. Good. And in Europe, it's higher. I don't know how well that's going to go over necessarily with regulation in terms of approval. Jan, did you see something there you wanted?
No, I just wanted to see if we have still some comments because, I think the questions are good so far. So
They are good. Would you tell the folks at home real quick a little bit about your channel?
So my channel is a cooking channel where I actually do great recipes of my grandma. Okay, no. So I have a small channel with around 6,800 subscribers to the number exactly. No, a little bit around that part. But I get great guests. Come on, hop over. This week is kind of Brian week because I got to make content when this guy is here. So there is a third part of a series that we've recorded when I picked him up from the airport, which is pretty interesting. And the last episode we were talking about China, and that's also pretty cool. So check it out. The video will be up tomorrow, and you can see the 3 other parts before that because it was pretty fun to chill with Brian. And the bigger episodes also in the pipeline, and I'm editing and my fingers already bleeding. That's why when my hand broke, I edited so much.
I thought it was because we were kung fu fighting and I got an advantage.
I said, you don't talk about this.
Could you imagine? Yeah, we're having a lot of fun. Obviously, we're I don't know.
Cool fellas.
We're just a couple of cool dudes. We went to the kebab shop, and I hadn't had a proper kebab in so long that the next day Jan said, "Oh, did you go out earlier?" And I said, "I didn't go to the kebab shop. You went there. I don't know what you're talking about."
And he still had sauce in his.
I had played a game of dunk my face in the kebab sauce. So, yeah. Ja, sehr schlimm.
Das stimmt, ja. Ja.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love to kind of add a thicker German accent in my English. Yes, that's right. Do you think I should talk like this on my channel? How about you say? Tell us that.
Before we get to this question, I would like to say that I got to meet a gentleman who had the thickest American accent I had ever heard.
As an American, wow.
Weil hat gesagt, dass sein Deutsch ist echt schlimm.
Okay,
and I was like, holy smoke of rhubobs. Did you just like read that phonetically off the back of a poster? It was so breathtaking. Do you think FSD will be in all models, including Semi and Roadster? Yes. Yep. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
100%.
Why wouldn't it?
Semi, for sure. That is the best use case. And Roadster, you could argue it's about driving excitement, but you have to get to the track.
Yeah, that's one main point. I realized that I already do that, and I just have lane keeping. So think about it. I drive around. Of course, it has steering and lane keeping. So I drive I don't like driving. What I like to drive fast. So this means, because I'm that kind of dude, but I drive there with lane keeping almost all the time. I always hit it and just drive there. And when I want to take over to have a little bit of fun, because the Model 3 Highland is actually so low, the average point of gravity. No.
Center of gravity.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's a little bit German here, but that's why. Yeah, so then I take over and ride it. So for the roads, it makes sense as well, I would say.
And you want to have fun behind the wheel. You want to be able to do it. And there have been times when I do hit a construction zone. I mentioned one earlier on a show with Herbert. I think it may not have gone live yet. But that I didn't have a chance to, sometimes I'll let it drive through the construction zone for me. And other times I'll say, I just don't have the headspace to supervise. I'm just going to take care of it. There was a question, I think you may have been looking about it. What about speeding tickets? If you're not... So I don't know, how do they deal with that now? There was a case in, I want to say San Francisco, where a little robot was delivering goods, and that robot got to a crime scene where there was yellow tape saying crime scene, do not cross, and this autonomous Mr. Magoo paused, looked at the tape and was like, it's not for me, and just rolled right through a crime scene. If you do that, you go to jail, I go to jail. But if the little Mr. Magoo does it, they just go, machines. So I think if the cars are driving more than a few miles over, they would ask NHTSA or the NTSB
to step in
and slow these cars down. But the speed limit, it's one of those, it's an analog law with a digital reading. And while you can get a ticket for 1 mile over in theory, I don't know of a judge in existence who wouldn't excoriate the officer who wrote that ticket.
Yeah, it's also dependent on how many of those cases there are. And if they have hundreds and thousands of cases, of course, Tesla has to be, regulated by something else, kind of. So I would say it's like you said.
So here's an important one. If you don't mind me asking, are you guys holding, cutting, selling your Tesla stock before the vote? So
no financial advice at first, because this is absolutely insane to listen to me for financial advice. So no, I never sold any shares. I just, even when it went down, and I don't catch a falling knife, I'm pretty careful with that. I'm not as, I have enough adrenaline in my life, kind of that I don't do that. So
without trying to predict
hodl
the future.
Yeah.
And there's, let's see, it's this way. Where am I trying to, I guess leave it there. And with that, I would say that also, so I am also not selling. I would say that, that I'm not selling, but all of mine are in my retirement account. They're in my IRA. So I could trade them for something else, and I probably would if I knew of something that was better. There are a lot of people who believe they know better than the market. And I've seen people I met a gentleman who said, you know what I do? Every earnings, I sell before earnings. I ride it up. I buy the rumor, I sell, and then on Monday or whatever the next trading day is, after it tanks, I just buy it back. And I get to increase my position 2, 3, 4% every time.
But the thing is, if then the whale gods...
Oh, you mean like Q1?
Yeah.
When it went up.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If the shareholder whale gods that have so many shares decide to just do the opposite suddenly, which they can really manipulate the market. So I would say we're a little bit careful with that, because institutional investors milk us small investors all the time, because they know that we are more emotional and thinking, we outgamed the system. No, it's way harder than that, because if you knew what would happen on the stock market, you would be a quadrillionaire in a few weeks. Yeah.
It's not just that they trade faster than us, which they do. It's not just that they have a closer jump to this. They do. It's not that they have better armies of engineers predicting these things, which they do. The real reason they can get out ahead of us is because they can see all of the trades behind the curtain that we can't. And that makes it, impossible.
And to add something there, they even had an own deep sea cable
Oh,
placed
that's right.
to have a little bit less latency than the rest.
Mm.
So have a little advantage, and it really shows. So this was also a private. It's
I
a
didn't know
private
about that.
deep sea cable to for internet actually.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So let's see if there's any other ones here we need to get through.
Yep.
But let's see. Yeah, so on that, I don't do trading advice. I never do trading advice. My trading advice is get a time machine and invest back when it was low.
That's a good idea actually.
Yeah,
I should
because the best time to plant a tree is in the past. And the second best time
is
now.
okay.
But I'm also not an arborist, and this is not arboreal advice.
Or gardening advice. Is that
Yeah.
gardening considered gardening? No.
I think arboreal is strictly limited to trees. In the comments, won't you tell us? Oh, Crunch is in here. Good to see you. Like number 51. Yeah, we're probably winding down. Deep sea cable is no longer state of the art because Starlink. Well, when Starlink has a reliable network of frickin' space lasers, then you'll have, probably sub 5 second ping, millisecond ping.
The ping is way too high. I think
It's for right now. It is what a lot of the companies will do is rent the building next door to the trading floor.
Yeah, because it's
So
a little bit nearer.
because then they're literally right next to it, and their trades
Yeah, and then
can
they
work.
use like those old Morse code. Forget it.
Smoke signals.
Yeah, that's what I
They've
meant.
got the
kind of.
semaphore flags out there.
Yeah, the concept was too difficult for me to explain because I'm German, as you all know, of course.
Yes, he requires precision. Let's see. What do you think about an American growth story by Elon? That's hilarious. Not the comment that while we're using this monitor, it decided, oh, you know what? I don't think you're using it. I'm going to shut off.
Yeah, shut off the monitor.
So we had to prevent that.
Yeah.
The comment's fine. But what do I think? I don't have an opinion of it, of an American growth story by Elon Musk. I assume that is in reference to the letter that went out to shareholders saying, please vote. I mean, being an American, a U.S. citizen, the story is not that uncommon. Immigrant comes in, makes big stuff. If you look at the percentage of CEOs and founders of the Fortune 500 who are either immigrants or the children of immigrants, you might have a softer opinion of immigration. But hey, what are you going to do? Ticker tapes. You know what? Larry's right. Ticker tapes are the future. That's how we need to go back to trading stocks. And the nice thing is, when the market does really poorly, you can always burn them for warmth,
That's a good idea.
which I've not been able to do.
That's true.
Let's see. Zip2 was under an ISP. You mean?
Internet service provider?
Yeah, I think he was running it.
under. Or
Yeah,
what?
he was
Okay.
literally drilled through the floor
Okay.
to get. It wasn't about lag time. It wasn't about the ping for that. But
Okay. Yeah.
I've got, for the first time ever, someone said they like my logo. Most people don't. Most people don't.
Since my wife is a graphic designer and I'm from design, I want it changed so bad.
He has said that he is going to change it, and not even like ask permission. He's like, if one of these days you get an email from me with like a logo in it, please have an open mind.
Please don't report me as spam again. Yeah.
Again. So Jan has a great channel. I don't think he actually told you what it is, but he brings on a variety of guests, and he has gotten when his channel was brand new, just starting out, he got some of the biggest names to come on.
Farzad as the first guest.
Yeah, Farzad was the first guest, but you've also had,
K10, Alexander Mertz, Brian from My Tesla Weekend, formerly, now Futuraza. Then I had on Ross Gerber. People loved that. And then, for example, I was at Alex Voigt, John, then Omar from Homer's Catalog,
Dr. Scott Walter.
Dr. Scott Walter multiple times. He's a great guy. I visited him in Zurich as well, so pretty cool. Yeah, it's fun.
Tesla Jigsaw.
Tesla Jigsaw, a very small channel from the UK. You should also
He's
check
great.
that out. He's very fun. Yeah. So
Randy Kirk.
Randy Kirk.
Yeah.
That's right. So many people.
Many.
Yeah.
Many.
But I'm almost like a Pokemon trainer that tries to catch them all, and that's what I do.
Yeah. And Paul's curious, Farzad who? I mean, there's so many, but on
Yeah,
his
that's true.
coffee cup, it never comes out right.
Oh, I think you missed something. Did you mean Farvard?
Did you mean Farazard?
Or yeah, like
I saw
Charizard?
that one. I
Yeah,
loved
that-
it.
yeah, I
And
love
I'm like, and people are like, I'm starting to think these might not be real. Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's not what we're doing. We're
Isn't
not
that-
here to educate on that.
The same with your hair, Brian. It's engagement farming. It's just engagement farming. We are farmers, or Farzad is farmer, and also is Brian a farmer.
So here's a definitely true story, and certainly not a joke that I'm telling. This is true. There's this friend of mine whose grandmother was dying. And they thought grandma was penniless, but all the loved ones are around, and she's on her deathbed, and things are going not great. And she says, everyone clear the room. I want to talk just to Samantha. Just to Samantha. This is important. Everyone clears the room. Samantha comes in close. She says, Grandma, what is it? She says, you've always been good to me. You've always been my favorite. I need you to know something. I'm not poor. I have a farm worth millions, and I want you to have it. And she said, Grandma, tell me, where is this farm? And with her dying breath, she said, Facebook.
Oh no, Farwell. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, you're familiar with that farm as
No.
well. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've endured enough. Jan and I have been on air now for an hour and 45 minutes because we were on live with Herbert and Nicholas before this, and it was a lot of work. And I am exhausted, and I think we need to eat. So, guys,
That's true.
what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Leave us some comments. Tell us what you think of this show. These are some guys that we watch from time to
I
time.
know this guy.
I kind of know them. Let me see if I recognize either of them. I could probably make it a little bigger. Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, that's
I can't tell. I don't know if I know them.
okay.
But yeah, and if you get a chance, head over to TeslaFix, subscribe if you haven't. At least look through the interviews he's done and see because if there aren't 3 or 4 that you've missed that you shouldn't have, I'll be very surprised. Anything you'd like to say on the way out before I do my trademark sign off that absolutely everyone loves?
Yeah, they love it. No, thank you very much for joining us here in the studio. I thought it was a lot of fun. I think it's way better to have people in person here because that was the concept of this whole shenanigans I put up. So I love that you are here. It's cool. It's awesome. Why don't all these Tesla influencers just kind of move over here? Why don't they?
We could have
Way easier when everybody else moves to my place instead of me moving to the US.
right, and we could have at least a convention. Wouldn't it be great to hold JanCon 25 here?
Woo! Okay.
JanCon 25. So everybody else, like, subscribe, smash your thumbs because you like, and or hit the thumbs down. It's decorative. Either way counts equally for engagement because YouTube is, and I'm not sure if you know this, the devil.
Yeah.
So stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots on the flippity flap.
Bye, everybody.
And then we just sit here and pretend like the lights have drawn down, even though they haven't.
Can I do that somehow? No. Okay, let's pretend we're off camera now. Bye.